Oh, hello. You're probably here about the podcast. Elves love to talk on podcasts, but you didn't know that about elves. There's probably a lot of things you didn't know about elves. Another interesting elfism is there are only 3 jobs available to an elf. The first is making shoes late at night while the old cobbler sleeps.
The lazy cobbler!
You can make cookies in a tree, but as you can imagine, it can be dangerous to have an open oven in an elm tree.
Oh no! God, the fire! Oh no!
But the third job, some call it the show or the big dance. It's the profession that every elf aspires to, and that is podcasting in Santa's studio.
What about podcast for life here from Santa's studio?
It's a job only an elf can do.
Today's topic.
Our soothing voices, natural cheer, and active minds are perfect for podcasting.
Cycle of a snowman.
But no human has ever podcasted in Santa's studio. That is until a few months ago, and as you can imagine, that's where our story begins.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You can't handle the truth. King Kong ain't got shit on me. I am the third revolution.
I am so much crazier than you.
I am the one who knocks.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Best thing, big boy, huh? That's private fucking.
Everybody on? Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful.
Welcome to Facing Off, a podcast where we share our opinions about 2 movies we find to be similar by comparing, contrasting, and rating them. This is Santa Gabe, which is an actual quote from the movie Noelle. I've been represented in a Christmas movie.
You are.
And this is my cotton-headed Ninny Muggins co-host, Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick, your co-host. What's your favorite color?
That's great. What's up, Nick? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. It is 2 days before Christmas when this podcast is released, so
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Yeah, I'm just swimming in cheer right now.
Yeah.
What about you?
For all to hear. I'm good. I'm a heathen. I'm ex-Jew. I'm Jew by blood and by heritage, but I just celebrate whatever, man.
You're just a free thinker, dude.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm going to celebrate the shit out of Kwanzaa this year, man.
I'm just gonna celebrate, bro.
Yeah, but I'm good, man. You got cool Christmas plans coming up?
No, just some fam stuff. Hanging out in the Dirty D. That's the desert.
Dirty D?
The Coachella Valley, where I born and raised.
Yeah.
So, just chilling.
Not unlike the setting for the movie Noelle.
Yeah, the lighting isn't quite as orange in
Yeah.
Palm Springs, but yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Do you
Cool,
have
man.
Christmas plans? Hanukkah
Yeah.
plans? Do
I'm
you know,
going
you
up-
even know when Hanukkah started?
Dude, I have no idea if Hanukkah started. I'm assuming it already started, and happy Hanukkah to all my Jews. Hope you've been lighting them candles, getting them presents, and spinning that dreidel. Keep dreidling, y'all. Yeah, I'm just going up.
man.
I'm going up to San Francisco, hanging out with my boys. Gonna rage.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, that's just me. And then gonna go to Danny's family's place for
Oh, cool.
Christmas.
You can play some golf?
I want to play some
You gonna
golf.
whack some balls?
I don't know if I can play with Danny's dad anymore. I've kind of embarrassed myself last time by literally messing up on every single hole.
Hey,
yeah, man.
if you know how to give Gabe golf lessons, please hit your boy up.
Yeah, help me out. I need to get actual lessons at some point, but
Yeah, maybe.
my New Year's resolution is to get golf lessons and be a pro.
Dang.
I think it's achievable.
Lofty.
Yeah, man. Well, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. It's good to do this last episode with you.
You too, my brother.
So stick by at the end of the episode. I want to include something. So in our intro episode, we talked about why we each wanted to do this podcast.
Right.
And for me, I am obsessive about movies, and I need some kind of avenue to, some kind of channel to speak about that, or else it just consumes me inside, or I send Nick like 10 essay long text to him while he's at work.
And I respond like like 24 hours later with like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, but it's like every year I see so many movies. I've seen 62 new movies this year, and I still have more to see before the end of the year. And I kind of want to give some recommendations to people. So though we typically at the end just give recommendations of things that are similar to the episode, I may just like let you know movies that I saw recently very quickly. We'll call it Gabe's Movie Minute. And Nick will talk about stuff that he's seen too, because sometimes he gets to see stuff. Like Star Wars, you'll see before me.
Yeah.
Cool. Why don't you give a synopsis, yo?
So what are our 2 movies? And are we going to spoil them?
Yeah, we're going to spoil these 2 movies, but who cares?
Are?
We're doing...
Dang, okay.
Yeah. We're doing Elf versus Noelle. Elf is a classic. You can find it on AMC right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and you can rent it. I'm sure people own Elf.
Yeah.
Noelle is a Disney Plus original movie, so we're sorry to everybody out there who wasn't able to listen to or watch it because they don't have Disney Plus.
In this particular case,
you don't need to.
listen to our podcast first and then decide for yourself whether or not you want to watch Noelle.
Good point. Why don't you let everyone know, if you haven't seen Elf, here's a synopsis of Elf.
Yes. So Elf is the story of Buddy the elf, who is actually a man, who goes to New York to find his father, who is actually a dick. Buddy, played by Will Ferrell, and his father, played by Scott Caan's father, James. Buddy is an elf. He's raised in the North Pole, not knowing that he's a man. When he goes to New York, he begins to work as a mall elf and meets Jovi, played by a blonde and kind of cranky Zoe, and sad, just such a sad version of Zoe Deschanel.
She's happy later.
Eventually, what Buddy ends up doing is teaching his father, Walter, how to be a kind and nice person and not a naughty person.
Naughty.
Walter's heart grows a couple sizes after he yells at Buddy for being really mean to Peter Dinklage on accident. And Buddy runs away, leaves a heartwarming note. Walter goes to Buddy in the park, and they help Santa escape from park rangers,
From the po-po.
from the police.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Buddy's half brother reveals that Santa's a real thing, and I assume that this causes mass hysteria across the globe. But it's another movie for
Give
another
us
time.
a follow-up movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Elf 2.
In Noelle, we journey to the North Pole, where we find Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader playing Kris Kringle's daughter, Noelle, titular, and his son, Nick. When Chris passes away and passes on his authority as Santa Claus and his throne of lies to Nick, Nick becomes overwhelmed with the responsibilities of being Santa. Then his more put together and cheery sister Noelle suggests that he take a short break before Christmas. But Nick suddenly goes missing. The North Pole goes into a frenzy, and their super sexist governing body requires the role of Santa to be taken on by a male member of the Kringle family. So they turn to Noelle's cousin and Christmas tech support officer, Gabriel. However, Gabe's technical background and overall demeanor makes him unfit for the role of Santa, so Noelle goes to Phoenix, Arizona with her elf guardian Polly to search for her missing brother, who she soon discovers is now a yoga instructor.
Oh my God.
Noelle becomes close with a divorced father / private investigator until she gets in trouble with the law and then finally takes Nick back to the North Pole. But Nick points out that the Santa covenant technically doesn't mention gender, and Noelle becomes Santa because of Christmas.
Well, also she has superpowers.
And she has superpowers because Christmas.
She inherits Santa's superpowers.
Yeah. Very Christ-like of her. Anyways, we're doing these movies because it's though there are plenty of great Christmas movies, these are 2 movies where you take a fictional fantasy Christmas character full of joy and you supplant them into the mundanity of American life, and their goal is to find
Christmas
purpose
cheer.
and bring Christmas cheer for all to hear.
Yeah. They provide a fresh take on what it is to be a person that exists during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these are just like the most similar. I mean, we could have done plenty of other ones that aren't on Disney.
Yeah, but
Plus,
these two have a very common thread. Yeah, like you said, they have this like other sort of otherworldly figure who's completely and utterly innocent and ignorant to the
crap
said.
that is human existence.
Yeah, I was searching for a word for
Or
how
American
crappy being a
existence.
person is sometimes, and they make those around them kind of see things in a different light. It's
For
a little
sure.
bit cute.
Yeah, it is a little bit cute.
It's a little bit cute, a little bit heartwarming.
Let's talk about the differences between these movies. So
Sure.
we are going to rate them on a scale. We have 5 categories, and we're going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 7.
Right.
1 being lowest, 7 being highest, and 4 being average or neutral or in between.
Yes. Do we have any new categories today?
Yes, we do. We are going to take one of our typical comedy categories, spectacularity.
Yes.
Then
These are
we
both technically comedies.
Yeah, and then we're going to do acting, originality, legacy, and a new category for Christmas movies.
Gabe's gonna sing in 3, 2, 1.
Xmasticity in the city. Shout out to all my System of a Down fans out there. Stay hot.
Gabe named our Christmas category Xmasticity, and I have never really listened to System of a Down.
You don't know Toxicity?
Sue me. I know what toxicity is, dude.
Dude,
I don't
it's dope.
live under a rock
All right, well,
or in the North Pole.
you don't listen to rock either.
Oh,
okay.
nailed it.
Let's start with hilarity,
Ooh.
which is a category where we talk about the spectacularity of the movie, which is the engagement level and how joyful it was to watch and whether you were distracted. And we mix it with the hilarity aspect of a comedy, which is how well balanced the comedy was and if it kept you laughing the whole time, if it was really enjoyable throughout. So let's start with the film Elf, Spectacularity. Nick, why don't you start?
Okay, my spectacularity for Elf is a 5. So I love Elf.
Wow.
It's a great movie. Did you give it a higher rating than me?
Fuck yeah.
You did? Is it a 6 or a 7?
Why don't you wait in here?
Wow,
You
dude.
you
You're
explain
making
what you have
okay.
to say.
So I gave it a 5 because the movie doesn't it doesn't like make you belly laugh over and over and over again, but it does keep you giggling pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I want to give a 6 or a 7 to a movie that makes me like deeply laugh very, very frequently.
Like Step Brothers or something.
Yeah, like Step Brothers or something. There's a couple times in this movie, namely the the dancing scene.
Oh, that's
where-
Tyler Salstrom's favorite scene.
Yeah,
He's
where
obsessed
James
with
Caan
it.
picks up the phone and he's like, "What could you possibly be calling me about?" And she's like, "They need you in the mailroom." And Buddy the Elf has somehow learned how to dance like a pro. It's so funny. And then the cut back to James Caan is so funny.
Yeah.
That scene is a deep, deep belly laugh. And then there's a couple other like deeply funny scenes, but for the most part, it's a giggle fest. And for me, a 5 in spectacularity is the giggle fest rating.
Yeah, it's slightly above average, so I think that's fair
It
for
just
a comedy.
keeps you giggling.
Yeah. I give it a 6. I just think everything keeps you giggling. It keeps you engaged. Like, you don't really want to. Yeah, I was on my phone because I've seen it so many times,
Right.
but you're really so engaged when you watch it. It's so enjoyable to see someone just so full of like love and life in this like disgusting part of the world, which is New York City. There are a lot of scenes that make me laugh really hard. Nick and I, when we were rewatching this, were laughing really hard at the Jack in the Box testing scene.
Oh my God,
At
yeah.
the beginning. It's just like pure comedy. Right after that, it's just nonstop throughout the whole movie. The mailroom is really good. I love there are really smart like little jokes within it that work. And they're almost like pop culture references. They're not, but they just work for me. Like the world's best coffee thing is so funny to me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because
There's
that's
lots
like
of-
a thing that no one ever jokes about how ridiculous that is, that everyone says that.
There's a lot of like little lines that this is why it's a 5 for me and not like a 6 or a 7. Like
Yeah,
a 7 in this category would be like Pineapple Express, like my favorite one of my favorite comedies.
Yeah.
Not my favorite comedy.
Just because it makes you laugh like hard.
It makes you
all the
laugh
time.
hard
Yeah, I get
over
that.
and over and over again. Like a 6 is something like Step Brothers, where it makes you laugh hard a lot, but you're giggling the whole time. Elf makes me laugh hard a couple times, but I'm giggling the whole time at lines like "Not now, Arctic Puffin."
Oh yeah.
Like the way.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. I do love. I don't know. I agree with that, but there are so many scenes that still make me laugh hard. And the thing that makes it so engaging, it's so engaging just to look at Will Ferrell's face. Him in his little elf outfit, walking around so full of joy, looks like an absolute idiot, but he's so innocent. And he's walking through, and he's like juxtaposed with like just people who fucking hate their lives. Just kept me so involved in his pure excitement whenever there's any mention of Santa or when Santa's there. He's like, I know him! Santa! Yeah. Yeah! He's so funny, so he just really keeps
so pumped
it.
about Santa. Did you know those scenes where where they're walking around and like you said, talking to random New Yorkers that seem to hate their life? Those are all kind of just like random people that
they had to like sign
John
things up,
Favreau
yeah.
and Will Ferrell just walked around or drove around and hopped out of the car, and they were like, "Hey, do you want some cash?
It's
Are you
great.
okay with your face being
It's
in a movie?"
basically the whole point of the show, Billy on the Street. Except for this time, you get someone that's just full of love and joy
It's
that
great.
you're bringing.
And that Jack in the Box, the scene that we're laughing at, the like laugh in it is from Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they pulled
That's
the
so
audio.
cool that they find all these like audio clips.
There's a couple of those in this movie. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, so that's a 5 from
Yeah.
Nick and a 6 from me for
Yes.
spectacularity. Let's
Should
talk
we
about Noelle.
talk about Noelle. Okay, so
Such a bundle of joy, Noelle.
yeah, Gabe and I talked a lot before this podcast about how we chose Noelle and Elf because we kind of read the synopsis for Noelle, and we know that.
Yeah, and my buddy Bobby, listener to the show, shout out to you, Bobby. You're awesome. He suggested that we do it a few months ago.
Yeah, and it's a
or last
great.
month.
It's perfect for our podcast. It's perfect for our show. Like it is. They match up really well. They have a common vein, common thread that really works, and it's why we made the podcast. However, Noelle is very difficult to talk about because it's super meh.
Yeah, it's so boring.
It's like I just thought it was so meh, and so in this category, like we're starting off with it because the juxtaposition between these two movies in this is like really stark. I gave it a 1
Same.
because I honestly, and there are redeeming qualities for this movie, and we'll get into that later. But like, if you're looking to like laugh a lot, this is not the movie for you.
I don't know if it was intended to be that funny. It's definitely a comedy, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you've got...
It's not a drama.
No, you've got comedic actors. Everyone actually in the movie is a comedic actor.
Except for maybe the private investigator. I've just never seen him before.
Oh, yeah, he's not that good either. But
He's
anyways,
fine.
he's fine. But like, I mean, you got Anna Kendrick, and you got Bill Hader, and you've got Billy Eichner, and there's like one scene where you laugh out loud.
I don't think I laughed out loud. So
I don't know. Like, it's just...
To
oh,
kind of
man.
really like
It's a bummer.
show,
It was a bummer.
Yeah, to show why it wasn't engaging. Nick was coming over today, and I admitted to him, I was like, "Oh, you know what? I realized I haven't finished this movie."
Right, and we were gonna watch Elf together.
Yeah, and so
cute.
Nick had to sit down and rewatch the last 45 minutes of Noelle because I had forgotten that I didn't finish it because I was so bored. I was falling asleep when I was watching it, and I don't fall asleep during movies. And then we watched that, and even when we were watching that, we got maybe like 25 more minutes into it, and I was like, "Please, can we just turn this off?" He's like, "No, you have to finish it."
We can't do it.
And
We
there was
can't
like
talk about it without finishing.
there was
it, and-
21 minutes
yeah.
left, and this isn't a long movie, and that's something we talk about so often in spectacularity. Is if you're worried about runtime and if you're really engaged, and I just wasn't. And beyond that, it just wasn't funny. I could like, there's like the elves not understanding technology and like having a tech support guy
Or
and
fist
then,
bumps. They don't understand fist bumps
or
either.
not understanding fist bumps or having Bill Hader want to be a yoga instructor in Phoenix. Like none of the jokes were that clever or funny.
No, there's a couple things that I did think were kind of funny, like the way that they keep saying, like using twinkle as like
Yeah.
a noun. Like, do you have twinkle? Like, Gabe, I'm noticing that you're not currently demonstrating very much Twinkle.
Rarely ever have Twinkle.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a funny thing. And
Yeah.
then like the fact that they refer to things as nice and naughty, as
Yeah.
like good and bad. Like they don't ever really say bad if you're from the North Pole. You
I mean,
always
that's
say
the
that's
extent
naughty.
of the cleverness, and we could say
But
that
that's
for
not
originality
clever. That's
too.
like kind of a funny, like little thing they do, and like they have the recurring iPad joke, like kids like iPads, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, they have like the Google Translate joke. That's how Bill Hader learns other languages and stuff. And then like, just like if you're gonna, Billy Eichner's in it. It's a waste of his talent. We'll talk about it in acting. But if you're gonna have a techie guy, make it really funny, like Silicon Valley. Like tech jokes can be really funny if you write them appropriately. Do that. I just didn't feel like they really like there was she makes a joke about yogurt pants instead of yoga pants. She's like, are you saying yogurt pants? And I'm like, who was that for? Who?
yeah. Who thinks that's funny?
I just don't think that they really thought it through. They didn't like really try to make it funny, and that's where this movie could have stood out. Because unfortunately for this movie, like I got that they were trying to have a clever idea about having, the daughter of Santa Claus who should really be Santa Claus, and
Right.
she's in the sexist
Hashtag
world, and
feminism.
she's like, yeah, exactly. But they like didn't do enough to make it stand out in the Christmas catalog, and we'll get into that in Xmasticity. So that's a 1 from Nick and I because we're brutal. So let's move on to the next category, which is
The
acting.
axe. Yes, acting. Okay.
Acting is where we talk about kind of mostly about the characters. How good were the performances? How good was the writing and directing? Did it give them the tools that the actors needed to perform the characters to the best of their
Let's
ability?
continue to talk about Noelle.
Yeah, let's do that.
What do you think is what is your acting rating? Like, where do you think the writing, directing, and acting combined is in Noelle?
I gave it a 2 out of 7.
You gave it a 2. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Here's the thing.
Okay,
And we
okay.
talked about this a little bit in A Simple Favor. When you put Anna Kendrick, like people like Anna Kendrick in a movie, they can kind of bring up a lot of the flaws in the movie because she's like high energy and fun and quirky and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you have to like Anna Kendrick, but she certainly is doing the most with the least. And she tries, although they don't even really write her character to be that fun when she could be. I just think it's a total waste of a lot of other talents. You have Bill Hader, one of the funniest people in the world, and he's not funny at all. Like, I literally didn't laugh at a single
He does
joke.
not have a single funny line
Yeah.
outside of when he's talking to the police officer,
Right.
and he's like, "I can get you any present you want.
Yeah.
I can hook it up with the big man. You want to play? Do you want that? Do you want
Yeah,
that doll?
like that was like
I can
kind of
get that.
funny, but I don't know. I was like, oh.
Like that's a funny concept.
Yeah.
But like in the way it's played out and the way it's played by Bill Hader, it's not funny. But it
Yeah.
could be a funny thing. It's like, it's like a drug thing, but it's not. It's not funny.
Another thing is they have Santa's wife, Mrs. Claus, is played by Julie Haggerty, who's great. I always love Julie Haggerty, but she, even in this, they could have made her, like, she was really good in Marriage Story this year. Marriage Story is a really sad movie, but she's very funny in it. She was funny in What About Bob, or she's just, like, plays, like, the really good, like, caring wife or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that that's kind of how she's been typecast, but she doesn't have a lot to do. You got Shirley MacLaine in this, one of the most famous actresses, and she plays Polly, and I guess she's kind of fun and sassy, but like, why was she in it?
I don't know. She does make a Supercuts joke that's like
Kinda funny?
Raffle, dude.
So funny.
Raffle.
Yeah.
It's not funny. I gave it a 3 only because
Oh,
of
okay.
Anna Kendrick again.
Yeah,
Anna Kendrick
she didn't
saves
bring it
this
up.
category, like pretty much everything she's in, because Anna Kendrick is fun and great and really trying super hard. And I think that Bill Hader tries as hard as he can, but he's written as
so
he's
mellow.
written as the straight character.
Yeah, you're
almost.
not using him appropriately.
Billy Eichner's character is written very poorly in such a way that could have been funny in concept. Like Billy Eichner plays cousin Gabe. This movie has both our names in it, by the way.
Yeah, Gabe and Nick.
Yeah,
What's up,
which is
dude?
really weird. But Billy Eichner plays like the cousin that becomes like interim Santa.
Yeah.
And he's like a tech wizard, but also
Tech elf.
a tech elf. Yeah, ha. He's a tech guy, and like
Yeah.
he's like wants an ultra technical version of Christmas.
But
which,
that's what I'm saying. Like they
which
could have made
been
that funny.
He also has a killer white man bun.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah, at the very end, and it's like it's just not played right. Like it could have been funny. The concepts are there. I don't want to give it too low of a rating because I think the actual acting is pretty good. However, the writing and probably the directing is not
Yeah,
up
that
to snuff for me. So
that's my thing. Is like as much as Anna Kendrick pushes it up, the movie writing pushes it down, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's why mine ended up being well below average with the two. But
Right. What about
another
Elf?
one is like we love Ron Funches, one of
Yeah.
our favorite comedians,
Yes,
and he's
yes.
just like doesn't have much of a role except for he's like a Christmas caroler choir person for Santa.
he's like
but
4 lines.
he has like a couple ones where they do use him well, but there's not enough of him, and it's like, all right,
Yeah, like
get
you
that
said,
money,
it's like
dude, I
squandered
guess.
talent. Let's talk about Elf.
Yeah, let's talk about Elf acting. What did you give it?
I gave it a 6. I think that it's you smiled, so that means Gabe did too. We agree.
Why don't you wait and find
I'm
out?
really sorry for everyone that doesn't like that we agree on everything.
No, we
but-
have some episodes coming out that I know we're going to disagree.
yeah.
Like
But-
hard.
But but it's great. I mean, Will Ferrell is anything where Will Ferrell plays a person who's too big and has to do things that are small is funny. Anything that Will Ferrell has to act extremely immature, which is basically everything he does,
Yeah.
is funny. He's utilized perfectly in Elf. It's like the screenplay was, I think 1993, could have been 1998. The screenplay first surfaced, I guess, in Hollywood, and they attached Jim Carrey to the role, and he said no.
just wouldn't have
and then it
worked.
resurfaced again, 2000 whatever, and then this movie Elf comes out in 2003, obviously attached to Will Ferrell, and it seems like maybe they tailored it for him because it is perfect Will
Yeah.
Ferrell, like Will Ferrell at his best. And it's fantastic. And then everyone else supporting him is great. James Caan is good.
Yeah.
Zooey Deschanel is good. What is the name of...
Our girl, dude, Mary Steenburgen?
Is that really your last name?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I thought it was Steenburgen.
The mom from Step Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, she's in a ton of stuff. She's
also
so great.
Buddy's mom in this.
She's
Stepmom.
a friend of the pod. Come on the podcast,
Yeah,
Mary Steenburgen.
Mary, come on,
Wherever you are.
May.
We love you. You and Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, you guys can both be on. There's not a low point in terms of the acting for me. Not a big fan of Kyle Gass though, so you know.
Yeah, that's a personal thing.
That's a
Nick
personal
has
thing. I have a
beef
vendetta.
with one half of Tenacious D.
But the other half, I have no beef with.
Yeah, Jack Black is amazing.
Jack Black is my dog.
Yeah, that's so interesting that Jim Carrey was almost in this because I think like a good movie in comparison of what is the best usage of Jim Carrey is something like The Grinch. He's so good at being, he could be lovable. He is lovable in movies, but he's so much better at being such a like piece of shit that turns into a good person. That's a lot of the plots of his movies, like Bruce
Yeah, it
Almighty, Mask, The Grinch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, look
I
at
mean,
that.
he's never like a great person.
No, he's not.
Except
Wow.
for the Truman Show is like the one counterpoint of that.
Right.
But I think that here's a movie where you get Will Ferrell at his most enjoyable, his highest energy. And he's just like so good at playing an innocent person. He's just so pure and innocent in this movie, so it works. And I think no matter what, I really like all the supporting performances, but I think no matter what, this is like a powerhouse performance by Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And they don't even make all the other characters that funny.
No.
It's kind of like he's the one, and they're all so good at playing the straight character around him. It works really well. Whereas like they didn't even try that when Noelle goes into Phoenix. You know, they almost did, but they didn't make her quirky enough. She kind of figured shit out too quickly. So I also gave it a 6. A lot of it too, I really like the side performances just in terms of acting. I think they're all really good. I
Yeah,
like
they
James
really
Caan,
are.
Bob
Even the kid
Bob
is good.
Newhart. Yeah, the kid is really good.
Kid's great. Buddy's half brother, that is.
Yeah, and it's a great early role for Zooey Deschanel. Like she's so big now, but at that time she wasn't that big. Like I think she was in that and The New Guy.
No, she's blonde and doesn't have straight bangs.
Yeah, but she shows off her pipes in this, so it was like an early.
She does.
Yeah, and she's a singer in real
But
life.
I'm saying,
too.
like, she doesn't even have black hair and straight bangs. Like,
she's
that's not
kind of
even-
pretty
barely
when she's
even
not
Zooey
like
Deschanel.
showering it. Yeah.
Her hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, when she showers, her hair looks gross.
We have to give out a big shout out to Peter Dinklage. This is like early Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Before Game of Thrones, this is like, I only knew him as this. Obviously, he's been in other movies. The Station Agent is a really good one. But he's great. He needs the ox. You were supposed to protect us.
Does not say those lines in this movie.
Yeah,
those are from Avengers. So.
Yeah, I'll give a couple quick shout outs. I really like Faison Love, the guy who plays the Gimbal's manager. He's just so perfectly.
He's great.
And Artie Lang, low key, probably the second best mall Santa in a movie after Billy Bob Thornton and Bad Santa.
He is really good.
John Favreau is great. Shout down the reason I'm giving it a 6 instead of a 7. This isn't the actual reason. I'm giving it a 6 because it's still not like the best. It almost would have been better if there were more comedic performances.
Right, that's why I didn't give it a 7.
Yeah, but I will shout down the dude who's in the elevator when Buddy hits all the buttons at the Empire State Building, the biggest building at the time in New York, or maybe still. Buddy hits every single button and the guy doesn't react.
But he
ruined that
react.
Well,
he does react, but he's nice, dude. It's Christmas.
I don't give a shit. He ruined that guy's entire day.
He's just not being a Grinch or a Scrooge.
I don't understand how annoying that. And that guy was probably late to work and got fired.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to be late, dude.
I don't know.
Maybe he was like, you know what? This guy is really messed up in the head, so I'm just gonna let this happen.
Oh, that's kind.
Yeah.
No, I hate that guy.
All right, fine.
Let's move on to our next category.
Okay.
Let's do originality, and we'll start with Elf. Originality it's kind of simple. It's basically like, how clever was this movie? Did it need to be made? Does it stand out in any way, in a clever way? Like, does it stand out among other Christmas movies?
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah. We're starting with Elf?
Comedies, yeah.
Okay, what did you give originality for Elf?
Let me see.
You just took a sip of your kombucha. We drink kombucha a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, we're healthy. We got healthy insides, dude.
Our gut bacteria is A++, dude.
It is. Yeah, we're good.
We're killing the gut bacteria game.
I gave it a 6 out of 7.
Okay. In originality?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's great writing by David Berenbaum, who did pretty much nothing after this movie.
Are you making up names?
Yeah, apparently. He did nothing after or before, but good job. Very good script. No movie had really sent like before this, what we were talking about, like the theme that ties these two movies together, I don't think any movie had really sent like a cheery and zany person into like a mundane world before this. Because you have Enchanted later with Amy Adams a few years later. I was trying to think, like, you have like Lil Nicky, I guess, with Adam Sandler, or like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but that's not they didn't send Roger Rabbit into the world. Like, both worlds existed and everyone knew that Toontown also existed. But there's just like this snowball of joy that comes to New York City, and like, you just didn't get that. And I think like every aspect of Buddy's being was so well crafted and well
it's
written.
a very well written character, and I do think that it's super original. I gave it a 5. I don't think it's the most original thing. I am sure that there was another movie with a similar theme that is made before 2003,
but not one that anyone watches.
A Christmas movie.
Yeah,
not a Christmas movie. And did it need to be made? Yes. I think people. Well, we'll talk about it in Legacy, but people watch this movie every Christmas. We have friends that do that, and it's a super joyful movie that needed to be made, and I think does stand out in its genre, and does have a lot of really original aspects. It's also like there aren't a lot of Christmas movies are comedies, but there aren't a lot of like laugh out loud Christmas comedies.
Yeah, not really.
There are a few.
Like, they're enjoyable.
Yeah, there are a lot of like enjoyable, like goofy Christmas movies, but not a lot of like laugh out loud Christmas comedies. There's like this one, Christmas Vacation.
I think beyond that, especially a theme in both of these movies, as it is with any Christmas movie, but these two movies taking someone from the North Pole and bringing them to New York, is that they both kind of make like Christmas puns and stuff. They make jokes about the idea of Christmas and the little things that go into Christmas, and like Santa's shop and elf jokes and stuff. And I think they're all really cleverly written.
Right. Even the Peter Dinklage scene that you thought was going to age poorly doesn't
Kinda
actually age poorly because most of the characters in the scene are like, oh, dude,
Don't
you
say that.
cannot be making jokes about Peter Dinklage's height, man. Like,
that scene is so well written in
stop
terms of comedy.
doing that,
Yeah.
and Buddy's too innocent and honestly stupid to know what
He's
he's
just
doing.
ignorant.
He's
Yeah.
just ignorant to know. But it's are those all your talking points for this one?
I mean, I was just gonna say
'Cause
the
that's a
only
good
reason I'm not
bridge.
giving it a 7
Yeah.
is because I do think there are some cheap laughs and stuff. Like,
Yeah, there definitely are. Like the candy scenes are cheap laughs. They're original and
it's not
funny,
like
but-
the most clever story. You know, the
No,
whole
no.
story structure is pretty simple. It's just I think that the cleverness went into the details, and
Right.
I really respected that.
It
So
deserves
I'm
an
giving it a
above
6.
average
Yeah.
rating. But what you said about the creativeness of the jokes, you said something about that just now. That is a good bridge to what I have to say about Noelle.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie
I originally
Noelle.
wrote a 4 for this because I didn't think that it was horrifically unoriginal. But now that I start to think about what I took notes on and what really bothered me about the movie, besides the fact that it's a snooze fest,
Yeah, it's
in
very
a lot of
snoozy.
ways, is the unoriginality of a lot of the jokes. They try and dig out these jokes that just aren't funny.
Yeah.
So we were talking about
I don't
like,
even know if they're intended to be funny.
yeah, we're talking about like using like naughty instead of saying bad. Like, oh, that tastes naughty or whatever is kind of funny,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
a
kinda
cheap joke. And one of the cheapest jokes in the movie is I can't tell if this is supposed to be like funny or clever, but there's two things about Phoenix specifically. Most of Noelle takes place in Phoenix.
Phoenix. Who knows fucking
Which
why.
I
I don't
think-
even think it does actually. I think it's on a studio stage
No, it's
in Hollywood.
definitely not actually in Phoenix. However, there are lots of shots of Phoenix.
Yeah.
For whatever
And
reason.
then St. Louis at one point.
Yeah, and it's like, so I think that putting it in Phoenix was supposed to be funny. Obviously, it's a juxtaposition to the North Pole where it's cold, but in Phoenix, it's not cold. Ha! Funny, right?
It is at night.
If you took a drink every time you saw or heard Phoenix in this movie,
You'd be dead.
you'd be dead at the end
Yeah.
of the movie. If you
A drink of water.
because the love interest, Anna Kendrick's like love interest, who actually just becomes like a homeboy at the end of the movie for her. She's like, "Yeah, I'll see you once a year, bro," and then they fist bump.
yeah.
He wears a
wondering why you
Phoenix
called him
or
homeboy.
Arizona sports jersey or shirt in every scene he's in.
Every single scene.
Every shot of his apartment.
It's like
has
Arizona State or a Phoenix
the
team.
Arizona Diamondbacks, the Sun Devils, everything. It's everywhere. The Suns, it's everywhere. And I think it's supposed to be an in joke, but it's not funny. The other thing is the lighting. Like, Phoenix is bright, and so they make it like literally orange
Yeah.
on set, and it just drove me nuts. Being like someone who digs into movies, that I was just like, dude, what are you doing with that? Like,
I agree. I don't think I don't. The thing is, like, another thing, they put you in the North Pole at the beginning, or at least the first half of the movie is in
Yeah.
the North Pole, and then they make the North Pole look like it would be like a town in the U.S., but just full of Xmas puns. Like all Christmas puns, every shop is a Christmas pun. Everything that they do there is a Christmas pun, and it's all like jokes about iPads and tech and stuff. But they're trying to make it like our reality.
it's
Honestly,
cheap
it's
and
way
it's not
more
original.
Yeah, it's way more clever when you have like the Whoville, where you're really building a fantasy land and stuff. It's fun. If you're gonna have a lot of time there, don't do that. It's like hacky joke.
Yeah, obviously, like Anna Kendrick, throughout the movie, like she demonstrates that the culture of the North Pole is not the same as the culture of not the North Pole.
Yeah.
But they basically are the same in the North Pole. It's not original.
Yeah.
It's hacky.
I mean, there's also, Nick and I notice a lot of like corporate plugs in this. Like, weirdly, there's a lot of plugs for Petco, and then there's like Pete's Coffee and Best Buy,
Taco Bell.
and Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of corporate plugs. It's weird that Disney did that. I would think that they wouldn't need to have corporate plugs. They are the biggest corporation. Also, is this movie designed for kids only? Like, is this because most of what happens in this handles like adult subjects, like I don't know, being divorced and like figuring out your life and what your purpose is and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know if it's like they should have had funnier jokes, or they should just make it like slip in adult jokes that the parents are going to enjoy when they're watching. If a family is watching, like a Pixar movie, usually has some kind of like funny joke that a kid's not going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. There are almost none of those that I noticed in Noelle.
Ultimately, it comes down to this movie's been done before.
Yeah.
It's been done by Elf. It's been done by Enchanted. And then another one I forgot to mention is Encino Man is kind of like that, where you take someone like that.
It
I
is.
mean, Elf is more clever than both of those, but that's it. And so I'm giving it a 1. I don't think it's original in any concept.
Yeah. Also, shoot, what's that movie with Eddie Murphy where he...
The Nutty Professor.
No. Where
Meet Dave.
He's like an African...
Whoa.
It is.
Oh, the King or whatever.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh my God, why am I blanking on the name?
We'll
of this
think
movie?
of it as we go on.
All right, I'm gonna look.
That's
it
a
up.
great movie.
It is a good movie, but that's
so
a similar
what did
theme.
you end up giving it? You didn't say.
I gave it a 1.
Yeah, I gave it a 1 as well. It's a stinking pile of poop.
When I think about it, it's just not original and it bugs me.
And that's the problem. It's not even like actually I just called it a stinking pile of poo-poo. It's not. It's not a bad movie. It's just not clever or original. It's not enough to keep us engaged. So let's talk about Legacy next. And this is a little bit tough because
Coming to
Noelle,
America.
Coming to America. That's a great movie.
Sorry.
So we're going to talk about Legacy. And Legacy, we normally talk about how, if this movie will be talked about in the years to come. Has it been talked about? Does it stand out in the history of movies? Will it age well? Are there things that are going to age appropriately and things like that? So let's talk about Noelle. I think it's going to be kind of quick. It's
let's
a little
make
unfair.
this quick. I got eggnog to drink. Just kidding. Eggnog is a disgusting beverage that people shouldn't drink.
Yeah.
What's your Christmas beverage of choice before we...
I like eggnog.
That's your of choice of all of them?
Celebrate Christmas. I don't know what the other
dude.
I like eggnog. I like peppermint lattes. I like hot chocolate, hot cocoa.
Dude, it's
Is
all
that
about
one?
hot mold cider.
Yeah, hot mold
Anyways,
cider is good too. I don't know.
Moving on. Legacy.
Dr. Pepper.
Noelle 2.
Yeah.
I gave it a 2
as well, and I don't know why.
I gave it a 2 because I think that because it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and I think people are going to be able to like watch it a lot. And
Yeah, it'll have, and I'll get into why I think it's a 2 when we talk about Xmasticity a little bit. I think that it will have a bit of a legacy because it's cute, and I think it is engineered for children, and it's on
an
Disney
easy
Plus.
watch, yeah.
And everyone's gonna watch it.
Yeah, and it'll
Not
just be in
everyone,
the
but everyone that has
background.
Disney Plus. All the rich white families that have Disney Plus are gonna watch this movie over Christmas.
It's not that expensive, but yeah, I mean,
No, but
I think it's a good family movie. I guess I think it's just gonna be available for someone to put on in the background.
Exactly.
And I think the legacy of it is just gonna be like, I don't think it's very quotable or memorable. It's not
No.
something that you would like remember what was said. But it's basically, this is a movie where Santa's daughter exists in a sexist world and goes to Phoenix. That's the plot.
Yeah.
And that's what people remember it as. But you're right, it's Disney Plus
literally
original.
yawning as we talk about
Yeah,
it.
that's 2s from both of us. We'll see. Maybe in a few years it's a 1, or maybe in a few years it's a 7. I don't know. Let's talk about Elf in terms of
To
legacy.
gain a cult following. Elf's legacy, like I said, we have friends that watch this movie every single Christmas.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that in Xmasticity.
I
but
don't
yeah,
blame
that's-
them, and I think that they should. I gave it a 5 because I think it has a great legacy, particularly it's above average among Christmas movies. I don't know that it appeals to everyone in the whole world, so I didn't give it higher than a 5.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
You gave it what?
I gave it a 6 just
Yeah.
because I think it's easily the most quotable Christmas movie.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
like the other 2 are probably like a Christmas Story people quote, and people quote The Grinch. You know, no one really quotes Home Alone, but everyone loves Home Alone, and there are plenty of Christmas
Home
movies
Alone's
out
like
there.
a Christmas movie 7 for me.
Yeah, but the thing is that's in the Xmasticity, what we're going to talk about.
Sure,
like
sure.
The themes of it being Christmas. The thing is, this like the legacy of this is that so many people rewatch this every single Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like a necessary movie for so many people. And I think a lot of things have actually aged well. I was going to put in the Peter Dinklage scene, but it actually aged well. Like it's funny. It's like
great.
at no point was it bad. The only thing that's not going to age well is Zooey Deschanel in the shower cheerily singing the song "Baby It's Cold Outside," which has been canceled.
Yes,
that song is
definitively.
canceled. But the rest has aged well. It also made, this is a big thing, it made $220.8 million worldwide and domestically made $173 million. But it also has like a 6.9 on IMDb, which is a user rating.
What?
And like, what person doesn't like this?
That's
like,
so
I understand
weird.
it not being your favorite Christmas movie. It's not
Yeah.
mine. We'll talk about that at the end. But like, who doesn't like this movie? So whatever. I'm giving it a 6 out of 7. I think it's a joy to watch every time. You want to finish it off with Xmasticity?
Xmasticity.
That's not even a good impression.
No, you
of that
sound like
guy.
you're doing. You sound like you're doing Barry Gibb, but Jimmy Fallon's impersonation of Barry Gibb.
Yes, absolutely. Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
All right, so Xmasticity is a new category, and in this one, we're just talking about it as a Christmas movie. Does it bring in a lot of like Christmas elements? Does it use them well? Does it use them in clever ways? Is it going to be a necessary Christmas watch? Is it something that makes you, when you watch it, you're like, oh, I'm ready for the season or whatever, for the
Right.
Christmas season? Things like that. It's kind of like a tough category, but we had to find some way of rating these in their
In terms
realm.
of their Christmas
Ticity.
their
Yeah.
Christmasiness.
So what did you give Elf?
Elf, I gave a 7.
Yeah.
I
It
think
has to be.
that like we said, it has an original usage of Christmas tropes, and it is cute and fun for all.
Yeah.
And to all a good night.
Yeah. Well said. Well spoken, Santa. I just think there's so many clever Christmas jokes. I talked about that earlier. I think they perfectly make fun of all the like lore of Christmas.
Yes.
While also they also like perfectly encapsulate what mall Christmas is like. Like operationally what a mall Christmas is like, and how
Yeah.
miserable the lives are of the people there, and how they have to put it on, and what a nightmare it is.
Yeah.
You know, there are other movies that have done that, but I think this does
Noelle
it the
does
best.
it too, but
I
it
mean,
doesn't
Bad
do it as
Santa
well.
does.
Yeah, Bad Santa's
really
a
well.
perfect one. Another thing they do is they pay homage to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, they do, and you love that movie.
I love that
guess.
movie. I used to watch it all the time as a kid, like the original kind of claymation one, and they were able to do that because they were able to pay direct homage to it and actually design all of the costumes that the elves wear after the costumes in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, that's cool.
Because Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is not properly copywritten.
Yeah, it's in
So
the public
technically,
domain.
I think it's public domain.
Yeah.
Because the copyright for it is improperly written.
Oh,
So they were able to like
It's
take
really-
things directly from it.
I'm an attorney about to work in copyright, and that is it's really easy to get copyright. But
Yeah, that's
pretty
what
dumb.
that's what I read in the
But
trivia.
no, that's
I
really
don't
cool.
know,
That's really
man.
cool of Jon Favreau to do that.
But it pays direct homage to that, and it's great. It's so funny and perfectly done. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have anything
I just
bad
think-
to say about it at Christmas movie wise.
I think it's the most entertaining non-Home Alone Christmas movie.
There you go.
Like those are the two most
way to describe
entertaining
it.
ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're like Home Alone is just so fun to watch because it's so exciting seeing this little brat like figure out this plan. But then Elf is just so fun because it's just so full of joy and goofy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's finish it off with Noelle for Xmasticity in the city.
Okay, you're not gonna like me for this, but I gave it a 5
Yeah, I don't like you for that. But go ahead.
because it is quite Christmassy.
It is.
It has kind of the same sort of elements that Elf does, where it has this kind of cute take on Christmas out of the box. And I think that certain people and children will like that and will want to watch it at Christmas time. And it does have a nice message. There are messages of feminism, which is great. And it is a generally positive and heartwarming movie for all to enjoy and to all a good night. Go ahead.
So I gave it a 2. I have to put it in my perspective, obviously, since this is my opinion. And I just think this is a really tough watch if you don't really celebrate Christmas and you don't really care about the
yeah.
ideas of it. And if you're like cynical like me and 27 years old, there's not a lot of like joy with that. And I don't think it's funny enough to bring me into those tropes and be like, oh man, I'm so excited that Christmas is here. I'm also stuck just questioning everything. You know, you get it in both Elf and this, but like the idea of Santa actually existing should cause panic, especially among parents that be like, how the fuck did those gifts get there and stuff? Like, or they're not even questioning how like extra gifts got there. I don't know how Santa can exist.
Honey,
Yeah.
did you buy a bunch of Christmas gifts?
Sorry to all the kids out there that thought Santa was real. He's not. I'm ruining it for you. But
Don't
also,
let your
does he not,
kids
like,
listen to Gabe.
does he not tell his family all of the, like, when he travels the globe, like what people dress like and what they do and what they're into?
Santa Claus?
He doesn't,
No,
like,
dude.
relay
He's a
any.
cult leader.
Yeah, I guess.
Straight up. Yeah, dude. Think about it. He makes everyone wear the same thing. Everyone's liquored up on eggnog and spiced cider.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a cult leader. He's got a joyous,
very, very
bubbly
true.
personality.
I'd follow him into
Yeah.
the dark.
Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about that
We
last
just did.
episode?
We just talked about that song.
Yeah, I think ultimately I just don't see this being a movie that people are gonna need to watch on Christmas. It's not gonna be like no one knows what it is already, and I don't think it's that rewatch.
No.
I don't think
Yes,
it's gonna be
yes,
want.
they
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
They will though.
They'll watch it. But I don't think they're gonna watch
Whether
it.
they want to or not, Disney made it.
Yeah. Let's
All right.
let's add it up at this.
Add them
point.
up. What is your overall for Noelle? Mine's
Noelle,
12.
mine is 8,
8?
which is brutal
Holy
out of
mother
35.
of God. Okay.
Yeah, that's bad. So that's a 20 out of 70.
And Elf.
Yeah, and then Elf, I gave a 31 out of 35.
So that's 59.
Yeah,
Because
out of 70.
Out of 70.
Yeah, and that's great, and I think that's well deserving for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in our accolades section, we usually talk about MVP, but it's very clearly Will Ferrell for these two movies.
Yeah,
you know,
he
maybe John
hits it out of the
Favreau.
park.
But let's do. We like to do our top fives.
Yeah.
Let's do our top five favorite movie Christmas movies.
Favorite movies.
That's a good theme. Yeah, so let's do our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. Why don't we start at number 5, Nick?
Okay, so number 5, I had a hard time. I got like a lot of ties for 5, but if I had to choose,
I did a tie for 5.
and you did.
Yeah, I had to have 2 in my top 5.
If I had to do a 5, it'd be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because I watched that movie a ton as a kid, the claymation version.
Yeah,
Dude,
I know,
it's
but
a
like, couldn't you watch it
classic.
now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's beautiful. The Abominable Snowman.
I think my buddy Kevin does too, because Kevin's like the only non-girl that I know that like, so he's a male, who just gets so giddy about Christmas and watches like 50 movies in a row.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're my boy.
And he loves milk, so it just works for him to celebrate.
And moving on from that,
Yeah. All right. My number 5 is a tie between The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey, and It's a Wonderful Life. I just love It's a Wonderful Life. You haven't seen it, have you?
no, actually, I don't think
It
so.
is amazing. It just makes you really understand the importance of living.
Okay.
And it's a great movie every time. And I think it aged really well.
Okay.
Sort of.
What is your fumber 4? Your fumber? Your number 4?
Wow, we are fumbling. Number 4 is A Christmas Story. It's like
Okay.
the Christmas classic I have to watch every year.
Okay,
it's the one
so-
like
okay.
obligatory Christmas movie I will watch.
Obligatory?
Yeah. Obligatory.
Obligatory.
I think it's both.
Is this the
We've done
conversation we've had before?
We've had this for the last like
we in
10
a
years
time
and it's
loop?
not it's not
What is
obligatory.
going on? My number 4 is Bad Santa.
Oh,
Because it
great,
is an
yeah.
LOL movie, dude.
It's
laugh out loud.
amazing.
It's fantastic. My number 3 is Elf.
My number 3 is Elf as well.
Oh, really? Look at us.
Yeah, that was easy.
Hey. Hey.
My number 2. Hey, look at us. My number 2 is Bad Santa.
Okay.
It's
Look at
Bad Santa is the Christmas movie. No matter what, every year I watch it. Every single Christmas I will watch it. It's my favorite.
My number 2 is the Jim Carrey Grinch, The Grinch Who Stole
Great.
Christmas.
Nice.
That's usually the one I watch every Christmas.
Okay.
My brother Jono and I watch that all the time because that's, I think, Jono's favorite Christmas movie. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is.
Jury duty, eviction notice, pink slip. He's so funny in that.
He's so good. And what is your number 1?
My number 1 is Die Hard.
It is. And my number 1 is the OG Grinch.
Oh shit, that sucks.
You didn't know that was my number one?
No, I thought it was going to be Home Alone.
No, dude.
Oh.
No. Home Alone, I think is a great movie, but it's not my favorite movie.
Yeah.
It's Julie's favorite.
So Nick and
one
I
of
just had
Julie's
an
favorite
argument before this,
No.
and everyone's had this argument about Die Hard. Here is why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm tired of this argument. I'm sure everyone else is, but here's the only way to put it. The movie centers around a Christmas party. The only reason why John McClane is in California is for Christmas. The whole party is a Christmas party. The whole plot of the movie is during a Christmas party. That's Christmas movie. Boom.
Okay. I'm a little offended that you don't like that OG, the original Grinch, is my favorite Christmas movie.
I just like the new one not the new one with Neil Patrick Harris. The one with Jim Carrey is just
Neil Patrick
better.
Harris. Don't you mean Benedict Cumberbatch?
Oh, I thought they did one with Neil Patrick Harris does one as well, I think. I think it was
Really?
on TV.
The
maybe.
animated one?
But you're right, it was Benedict Cumberbatch, which is even stranger. But yeah.
I haven't actually seen it. I'm saving that one. Dude, the original Grinch is a classic.
I get that it's just pay it respect and not have it be your
Dude,
preferred one.
If I had
No,
to
this
pick
is your
between the
preference.
two
You
of
get
you,
it.
I would pick a seasick crocodile.
Yeah, okay, fair.
I wouldn't touch you with a 39 and a half foot pole.
Yeah. Whatever. Dude, okay, I like your list besides that and the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer one
Pissing
because
me
we're
off.
27,
My honorable
28.
mentions are Home Alone,
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation, absolutely hilarious, Die Hard, and Iron Man 3.
Not a Christmas movie. You did that to piss me off. So my honorable mentions are both of the Home Alone movies. Home Alone 3 is really not that bad, honestly, but Home Alone 1 and 2. Scrooged, I absolutely love. Have you seen Scrooged with Bill Murray?
Yes.
It's amazing.
That's a great one.
Christmas Vacation, and then The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a great movie.
All right.
Let's talk about, you want to go through some quotes that we love?
Yeah. How about you go first?
I got a question for Elf.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, for either. Would either of these movies be better with Justin Long in it?
Noelle would be better with Justin Long in it.
I think that he will make any comedy better. And if he played like a character like Ginslinger from New Girl, he would be great in Elf with Zooey Deschanel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what's did you ask me for some Elf quotes that you like? You smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa.
That's a good one. Usually it takes people years of yoga to get there is one of the only funny lines I could find in Noelle.
From Noelle. You know what made me die of laughter in the theaters? I can remember laughing super hard when I saw Elf with my mom in theaters is when he jumps over the stall when the guy's like shitting next to him and he's like, "Hey, have you seen these toilets? They're ginormous."
I have a question for you. What is the life cycle of a snowman?
Oh yeah.
At the beginning of Elf, the snowman
This is interesting.
The snowman says that he used to travel the world, the claymation snowman that's following Buddy around trying to calm him down when he's sad.
Yeah.
After he says, "Not right now, Arctic Puffin."
Yeah.
The snowman says, as a young snow person, he says as a young like cumulonimbus, which is a type of cloud.
Yeah.
Which implies that a snowman undergoes some sort of metamorphosis from cloud-based being to earth-based orb man made of snow. And I just want to know what that looks like.
Let's make a movie.
Does he fall is he multiple snowflakes? And then how does it work? How does a snowman go from a cloud to a snowman? How was he able to observe things on Earth as a cumulonimbus cloud?
I don't know.
I just need to know.
I think you need to write a movie. There's going to be a lot of copyright issues, but
This
you
is
need to
not
write a movie.
rewatching it with you just now. Is not the first time I've thought about this.
I didn't even notice the line. I didn't know what he said.
It bothers me deeply. I would need to know what happens there.
So good news.
Yes.
I saw a dog today. Have you seen a dog? You probably have. That's really good. I don't know. I wrote down some like dumb ones from Noelle. The dumbest of which is when she's first looking, she's like, "I need to go to Phoenix, Arizona."
Oh,
And I go, "Funny."
chuckle.
Sit with a couple of kids. You'll feel the twinkle.
Yeah, that's one we should maybe just end on there.
That's pretty good. I see mommy kissing Santa Claus at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. She goes, let's start at the top. Oh, we start at the top with chimney access. That's funny. Is it? Is it funny?
That is kind of funny.
Okay.
I didn't notice that line.
Yeah, I'm done with that. Do you have any others?
No, I don't.
Do you have any recommendations for Christmas movies that people should see?
I think you should watch the OG Grinch, and if you don't, you're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk.
Well, then that's me. I think you should watch Bad Santa.
The three
if
words
you are
that describe you are as follows, and I quote, stink, stank, stunk. Fuck you, Gabe.
Yeah, I recommend Bad Santa. I also, for Gabe's little movie minute right now, I just saw the movie Uncut Gems. If you haven't seen Good Time, which is on Amazon Prime, it's a Safdie Brothers movie with Robert Pattinson. You need to see it, Nick.
Okay.
It's really good. It's not for everyone, but it's good. Uncut Gems is a delight. I loved it. I mean, it's not a delight because I was having a heart attack the whole way through, but it's good. There's a lot of good movies out there. I'm going to give you guys some recommendations. Next week. Nick and I are both going to release our top 10 of the decade. If Nick can figure it out.
tough one.
We'll release that on Instagram. We won't do a separate episode for that. We might do a bonus episode for it because it could be fun.
Okay.
Next week, we have our buddy coming on, Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Jim Mackney.
Jim Daddy.
One of our best friends from college is visiting us from the great state of Virginia. And he is going to record an episode on Shutter Island versus Unsane.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun.
I think it's going to be really fun. They're very similar movies. So you can also follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, instagram.com/facingoffpod. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/facingoffpod. For either of those, just look up Facing Off and you should find our picture. You can also send us emails. We got great emails from Otto and Kevin Gathman. We want to hear some other ones, so send us an email at facingoffpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what your ratings are for these things, especially if you really disagree with us. We would love to hear it. That's pretty much it. Go give us a rate and review on Apple. That really helps out. And Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas, everybody, or Happy Holidays. Both of them. Doesn't matter. Enjoy,
bye, audience. Hope you find your
Enjoy
dad.
your end of December, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Narwhal.